What's up, everybody?
What the heck?
Hey.
What's going on, everybody?
See this long musical intro. I wasn't prepared to be on camera yet. Sorry, I haven't finished my.
I don't know what he's trying to say here, guys. Welcome to Comics, everybody. So, Jared, do you want to do the intro, or
I would
Matt?
love
Which
to.
one of
Thank
you
you
is
so
doing it?
much. Should we do a close up on me as I do it?
I'd rather
I'm just
not.
kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. We have a great lineup with us tonight. We got the coolest people on the planet to join us in this very intense discussion. First, I would like to introduce Hazen Cruz with Vivid Comics and DreamKeepersComic.com.
Hey guys, what's going on? That's
What's
me.
up, Hazen?
Where's the applause?
Where's the applause? Oh, am I allowed to do that today?
Oh,
Dude, you
heck
can do
yeah.
whatever you'd like, Hazen. Let's have some fun with it.
Thank you, Fry.
Oh, there we go.
All right. Next, we got Matt Knowles with Symmetry Comics.
I love your books,
The man
man.
with
What?
the vision. Oh, and just show us all that bad A shirt, please.
What's going
Look
on,
at that.
guys? I hope I don't blind you out there, but that's actually what it's supposed to be doing.
Oh my gosh, I'm blinded.
Grab
Right there,
attention.
right there. Now you see all the reflection coming right at you.
That looks sick, dude. I'm
Next,
not gonna lie.
we have SK Malvo. You may all know her from Music Maker. How's it going, Malvo?
It's going down.
Nice.
Just for future
And-
reference, nobody has to try to match pitch with Jared, okay? We all
Okay.
get it. So,
Excellent.
Not that far.
I can go that deep. No, I'm just playing. And for the first time tonight on Crypto Comic Show is Miss FaZe. Tell us a little bit about yourself, girl.
what's up, Faze?
I am me. I make weird comics online and put it on Patreon, and I'm going to talk about monkeys today.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Fan
I
freaking
feel like that's a topic of subject that's going to come up quite often during this stream is monkeys. So be ready, everyone. Oh, Jared, do that like 3 more times. That way we can use that in different edits throughout the year.
I will, but I've got to be feeling it. It's got to be natural in order to, engage with my primal self. So I'll try it again
Just
someday.
gotta get
Y'all
in the
gonna
mood
have
for
to be
Primal
watching.
Scream.
I can do a primal scream.
So
but I won't, 'cause
tonight,
I don't want to hurt anybody's ears.
we wanted to jump right into a little bit of controversy here.
Yeah.
And talk about NFTs, talk about blockchain, and talk about all of the reasons that people hate them right now. We're just going right into the negative. Normally we try to keep the show pretty positive, but there's so much of this stuff going around. I felt like we had to do something.
People hate NFTs? It's not
yeah.
true.
All right.
No.
So, Fry, you had that banner, like I asked you before. I wanted to use that as kind of talking points. Should we just jump into the first one?
No, let's show
I
the
guess
banner.
that works. Show the banner?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, yeah. Let's keep going here.
I'm just messing with you. Right.
right.
So
So-
while we're talking about everything, guys, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware. If you interact inside a chat, we'll definitely put you up onto the screen. We'll try to answer any questions, anything like that you have. Talk about any issues that you guys might have with NFTs, with blockchain technology, with the direction things are going. A lot of the topics that are going to be covered on this stream tonight are potentially very, I guess, disbanding. We'll word it that way, as far as how some people may feel about it. But we are all about our community. So we're going to make sure that this is a really cool conversation to have over the entire subject. Because, again, it can get kind of negative, and we don't want to be totally negative, but we're going to talk about it anyways. So just wanted to get that brief little disclaimer out, Matt. Thank you.
Let's start
Carry
out with a negative. Why are they traditionally so ugly?
The ones you see are so busted, dude. Like, and I think they're that way on purpose. Like, you know how most of those are generated, right? Like the lazy lions, the what is it, the bored ape stuff. You know how those are made, right? Nobody sits there and draws those. You don't know how they're made. For those of you who don't know, these are generated by an AI. It's an AI that has different pieces and accessories to add onto a base. and it has different parts of like, this kind of smile, that kind of smile, the kind of weird like bored face some of them have or whatever.
Lego.
Yeah,
So
it
you're
just pieces
specifically-
things together, and it knows which pieces and combinations it has used before, so it always generates something new.
It's
So
a
you're
flash dress up
specifically
game
talking
on
about, like-
Newgrounds. Essentially,
Yeah.
What was that?
a computer itself plays.
Mhm. Well, real quick, outside of crypto comics, who here has published an NFT outside of crypto comics? Any other platform out there?
I have not.
Well, I tried.
Am I,
Okay, Fry's awesome.
am I really the only one that has?
No, I have.
Okay.
Well, raise your
so-
hand, dude.
I did.
Oh, really?
I didn't see
This
it.
is being very cool about
See
it.
it. Yeah, seriously. He's
Okay.
being all like, it's kind of
Cool. So
That's it. So
okay.
only Fry and Matt have published NFTs outside of all y'all.
outside
Yeah,
of
it
crypto.
costs money to mint those things. I can't
Yeah.
do that yet.
We're
Yeah,
the-
right. I ain't that
I
rich.
I'm
tried,
also not
but
an
then
artist.
the gas prices were too loaded. I didn't want to do that at all.
That's,
I'll
that's
miss
a
that
good
train.
subject for us to talk about.
Gas fees
Yeah.
are crazy.
So what were the gas prices you were seeing, Miss FaZe?
I was seeing like what, $80 at least.
Oof.
Up to $400 at actually. I was just trying to use what
That sounds about
OpenSea, the one
That was on OpenSea.
Mhm.
that was an OpenSea, yeah, 400 or something like that for one NFT, and they don't have the bulk minting option where you can just mass mint a bunch of them, like hundreds of them, which is the only way it's profitable for most people, I think. They don't
So
do that option too, so it's like, why?
So what would you sell after you minted a $400 NFT? What would that sell for? Anybody know?
It could be anything. Like,
Yeah, it could be
this-
anything.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons
That is a
I've not-
loaded question.
Yeah, I
Oh,
invest
really?
in like crypto and stuff. Like on the side, I don't talk about it a lot, but like, Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff. Like, you can make money doing that, and the reason you can make money doing that is because it's all one commodity. NFTs are different because each one of them is unique, and I have always been scared that I'm gonna buy, like, there will be like a series of them that comes out, and everybody will want them. I will buy the one that no one will want.
Nobody wants.
Yeah, and I'll just lose like $400, and I'll just be like,
Ugh.
screaming in my sleep.
Hey, Hazen, thank you for being my only sell, by the way. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I'm kidding. He didn't really
What a
buy my
support buddy. No, we support our buddies.
Well, let's add a little bit of element of clarification here then, real quick, just so that anybody that's watching in chat, anybody that's on the stream, if anybody's got any questions. So, first of all, the first thing that anybody asks is, what is an NFT? I'm sure if I ask you guys to raise your hands, every one of you in the last week has seen something on social media about NFTs or different creators talking about it. Different people telling you that you need to make them, that kind of stuff. So let's really quickly clarify what an NFT is. So an NFT stands for non-fungible token. Now, fungible means that it's something that can be exchanged for something else at the exact same value. So if I give Jared $10 bill and he turns around and he hands me two $5 bills, those are fungible because they have the exact same value, even though they were two different things. A non-fungible element would mean that it's an asset that can't be substituted with something else to remain the same value. So that's something like a painting, for example. I can't take a painting that I have and trade it to Hayes and Cruz for a different painting, and it automatically has the exact same value. The Mona Lisa has got a totally different value than the painting, I'll say terrible painting of a rabbit that my daughter made when she was 3 that hangs up on my fridge. You know what I mean? I'm going to be honest, she was 3, guys. Okay, it wasn't the greatest art style. All right, but she's getting better. She's getting better.
Dude,
Who
it
among
was
you
the
was an
greatest
achieved
art
artist at
style.
3?
Picasso in the making.
Mm-hmm.
For the
A simple
layman,
thing-
it's basically a unique identifier barcode for a digital work. It doesn't
Yeah,
have
the
to
thing-
be. It doesn't have to be a piece of art, just a singular piece of art. By the way, it can be any digital work. But
Yeah,
Keep
a lot of
going.
people think it's only art restricted to that because that's what they
Yeah.
see. What I always tell people is an NFT is a digital certificate of authenticity and proof of purchase.
I came up with
That's
that.
it. One sentence. And people immediately go, "Oh." And like every other explanation they've heard, that doesn't like stick or whatever, because it's people don't know what a blockchain is. They've heard the term, they don't really grasp the stuff, and why would they? Most people don't really interact with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's
You have to
basically
associate it something physical.
Yeah,
You have to.
it's a
abide
certificate
by
of
the,
authenticity, like Faye said, for any digital good. It can be for video game, it can be for DLC in a video game, music, art, whatever. It can apply to anything, and that certificate of authenticity is on a decentralized ledger. What that means is nobody can step in from Facebook or YouTube and say, "Hey, we don't like something you did. You don't own this anymore." You always.
So
own
then,
it.
why is it like considered such a scam at times?
Well, honestly, I mean, can I tell it like it is? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
No, please
Because
soften
a lot of
it.
this
Come
stuff-
on, man. I got feelings.
I'll try to like candy coat this as much as I can, but the stuff, first of all, the stuff that's out right now that people are seeing is so busted, dude. It's so ugly, and it's ugly on purpose because it's like some kind of weird thing where people are just astroturfing and buying each other's stuff. Like people who are selling these things for $1 million. They're, I can't prove this. Allegedly, they're selling it to other people who already have $1 million who are like, if you buy my thing for $1 million, it'll be worth $1 million. And then I'll buy it for, this much. And then we'll split like whatever we end up making at the end of this when somebody who's not us buys it. There's allegedly probably some of that going on. People know that. People think this has a worse carbon footprint than banks who use paper somehow. I don't know why that is. But there's a lot of negative stuff people kind of think about NFTs. I think that some of it is honestly going on right now. I think it was OpenSea. I'm sure I don't want to put this all on OpenSea. I'm sure there are a lot of platforms who have this issue. There's instances of artists I know who've had their art stolen and sold as an NFT, and people made money selling it. And the person who bought it thinks they own that artwork now, and they say, well, these platforms just don't do anything about this. And I always ask them, well, did you report it before the sale happened? Like when you found out about it and it was going on, did you talk to the people who own the platform? And I never get an answer back on that. So I don't know if they are reporting it or not. If you're not reporting it, they can't do anything about it.
There's anybody to talk to with the other platforms.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Have you ever tried to contact? I mean, I've used Coinbase for a while now, and I've never been able to get anybody on the phone ever.
Yeah, well,
ever.
there's a way to
Hell, I can't
contact
even
them,
get
but it
an
takes
email.
like 4 weeks for them to get back to you, and even then, it's like a canned response most of the time.
Oh, it's
So,
a
yeah.
total freaking AI response, probably.
So the lesson there is if you're going to run a marketplace, don't like expand yourself past where you can like talk to people.
Well,
agree.
let's talk about this. So you guys are all creators. You guys are, in various elements, writers, artists, music, across the whole spectrum here, kind of between the four of you guys, really. And that's like, yeah. So how many of you guys have personally had a creative that you have made stolen by somebody? And when I say stolen, I mean somebody else has either just grabbed it off of a website and started using it, like DeviantArt or something like that. Miss Faze is the only one. I find that really hard to
Not
believe.
specifically NFTs, right? Just any kind of piracy.
Yeah, just anything. Just
Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I make
Yeah, I
comics digitally, like I digitally distributed on Patreon, and the people take it and put it on other sites, etc., etc. That's the thing. That's always going to happen because it's so very easy to do that. And I first saw NFTs as a way to kind of like not circumvent, but put a more authentication kind of stuff on top of it because there were none of such things before.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt like a good idea at first, but the way it's utilized right now is already immediately kind of straight out of that, in my opinion, in the most part, in the public eye. People don't really realize that use of it.
I think the most common form of theft, I mean, being a musician as well, just look at like Napster and back in the day with MP3s, where there was, and at that point in time, there was no plan whatsoever to be able to get digital music out to people and have it be something where people can make money off of it. And I will say I'm very unknowledgeable about NFTs, but I look at it from a one level up and say from a general sense, any marketplace has to start somewhere. And at the beginning, there's going to be people that are going to be taking advantage of it. And you look at where digital music is now, you can sell a lot more digital music now than you could in the Napster days and things like that. So I feel like all of the things that people complain about now can be addressed over time as long as people give it enough chance to be able to be fixed.
That's a very
That
good point.
is a great point. That is a great point. Giving it enough time to be fixed, because really a lot of people don't understand, you know, NFTs are new. Yeah, it's a new fad, whatever's going on right now. But when you really take into account just how new this technology is, like, it is so freaking new. It's so new. And
Yeah.
because of that, you know, it really is easy to get taken advantage of because you don't know what you're getting into and what's going on. I mean, I can just think of how many times we've had to redirect or change our course just because of the information that was coming at us so quickly. It was like, oh, we're going in this direction. And all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute, we got to take this into consideration and this into consideration. Okay, wait a minute, come back here to this phase. And then let's slowly move forward, making sure that we take these things into account. I mean, it is so new. And, you know, I like the idea of what it represents, of how it can be something that really does help creators own their assets. Like, that idea is so powerful, so awesome. The idea that you can track something, you own it, and as it's being transferred ownership, you're getting your royalties, you're getting paid for what you put so much time and energy into. And that is where I just love the concept, love the idea of the NFT market and where everything is going. But right now, things are a bit freaking weird.
Yeah, we were talking about art theft, and someone in the chat said, like, how do you stop the art theft? Like, everyone's like, art can get stolen, and there's not even a good way to report it. And my solution is just what you said, Jared. It's just that give it time, because, like, when more developed stuff, like what we said, like video games, which I want to talk about in this chat, or books or ebooks, any kind of digital work, when they're like stolen and they're sold in that manner, singular art pieces, NFT, like minted or not, will be more like Hallmark cards where they put like Google image pictures on them and put like quotes on them.
That's already happened, by the way.
Yeah, that's already happening. That's that'll be the equivalent of the art. Yeah,
they caught somebody making some of those monkey NFTs. It was like one of the copycats of the first one, the Bored Ape thing. That wasn't what was funny. Like, they found out like the stuff in the background on the picture was just like stuff from some, like, you know, buy this like royalty free type thing, and it turns out they didn't even buy it. They just swiped.
Yeah, I think it was Shutterstock. They didn't even have.
It was like you could see some of the lines still, like little watermark lines.
Watermarks from Shutterstock were showing up.
And they were trying to sell these. They were trying to sell them. Like, they had.
Let me check in with chat real quick, guys.
I want to get this one real quick. Hold on,
I'm gonna get through these. So JD Smith says,
"Oh, you're never gonna get through all of these."
To talk over. Hey, I'm not gonna go one by one, guys. We can't. We got too many people tonight, but we're gonna try to hit every question or every concerned comment that we can get.
Well, can I hit this one comment that's right in line with what we're talking about
Jared,
right now?
go ahead, Jared.
Thank you. It's very relevant. My goodness. Okay, so comes in and says, I don't think NFTs are the solution to piracy. What it can do is allow your art to become collectible. It allows a way to instantly separate pirated goods from authentic goods, which I thought was a very good statement.
And then it's the creator's choice what they want to do about it. Yeah.
Well, here's my question in relation to his statement, her statement. I'm not sure which. Isn't that dealing with piracy? I mean, the very fact that you can instantly separate pirated goods from authentic goods, isn't that a solution to piracy?
I think this is a good first step. Honestly, I don't think there is a solution to piracy. If somebody can have a file, they are going to share that file with people. And that's an unpopular opinion among creators, but my songs and stuff, I can't like pursue you if you get like, if I put something on the internet and it's something for a client and I say, hey, you don't have the rights to use this, then if you use it, you know, I can't do a whole lot about it, but I wish you wouldn't, because then my client might get mad at me.
It isn't until you get really big with it that it seems to be that seems to become an issue. Whether it's
Yeah.
if it's just like casual sharing and everything, yeah, there really isn't a whole lot you can do about that.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
especially
everything
hard
that's-
for.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think that
Everything
there's
that is-
a perfect solution to piracy, but like I said, if you can find ways to improve the situation, there might be another thing that can improve and build on that and build on that. So anything that kind of points the needle the right direction is probably something to be considered.
hmm
Okay.
I think so too. I would add that, like, personally, I probably won't ever care about piracy unless someone's trying to sell my stuff. If somebody downloads something I made and they were just enjoying it and they didn't pay for it, shame. Oh, come on, camera, shame. Until me personally, this is not like a one size fits all thing for everybody, but me personally, unless somebody's trying to sell my stuff and pass it off as their own, then it's not something I care too much about.
Yeah.
Well, here's an interesting question from Vivid. Wouldn't an NFT of stolen art basically be a certificate that it is undoubtedly stolen?
Yes.
What a good word.
Yeah. It literally is a digital certificate of authenticity that's on a decentralized book.
hmm
So
So-
it would be very easy to separate.
Vav's got this comment. I tend to think of NFT as a deed. You sell the deed to the art. Anyone might be able to copy the thing, but only one person can legally own the deeded copy. It isn't an exact analogy, but it's close enough to be functional. I would say yes, but under circumstances that the creator is who minted that token. That's the most
Right.
important thing. That in order for all of us to kind of get together and agree that this art theft thing is kind of a joke, and essentially it's just done by shitty people. Sorry about the
And
language,
I think
guys.
we
but
should
that's
add
kind of what it is.
Yeah, I think that we should add.
Did we
that
put
if
the
I'm-
not
allowed to be
safe for
capitalist
work?
here.
Dude,
Oh
People up. Oh my gosh.
this might
Okay,
go on
Let's
the
show
internet.
them unethical
basically-
people.
So basically, what we should be doing is when you're actually going to purchase an NFT, is look to see who minted it. Make sure it's the artist, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure it's the creator that you're giving your money to. That's the reason. The base reason isn't to own that art, it's to support that art. And people need to
Support
remember
that
that.
creator.
Like,
who
Or
made
the
that art.
publisher.
Or the
Or the
publisher.
publisher.
Exactly.
Just saying.
That's exactly
point,
right.
yeah.
Support the person
Yeah.
behind the work.
That's
Yeah.
why
In
some
the
people
end, we're a
buy
community.
NFTs. Yeah, like
we hear
Doug Tenable,
crypto.
the guys who. Oh, sorry, we have like a delay or something. I don't mean to keep interrupting everybody.
Oh, no,
I
it's
apologize.
oh, you
about
can.
that.
Yeah, everybody
interrupt
talks
Matt all
over
you
Matt.
want.
It's his internet. I don't get it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I try not to. I try not to.
But like there are creators out there like Doug Tenable, which whatever you think of Doug, like he is selling NFTs, and the people that like him and want to support him as a creator, they're purchasing them. And he has said, I have made more selling NFTs in the last year than I have made in the last 10 years in show business. So if you have the fan base that is interested in it, it's a viable way to directly link ownership, if that's what you're selling on your token, of a piece of artwork of yours that goes to them and they exchange money on a crypto exchange to you. As long as they are giving those rights out, that's a way you can support creators. But most people are not buying NFTs to support creators right now. And I think this will change in the future as we get more content rich NFTs out. Most people are purchasing NFTs like they purchase baseball cards. They want to buy this one for $400 and then sell it for $600.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can do that. I haven't done it personally, but you can do that.
And so that brings
It's
us to
been
another
done.
negative, is a lot of people look at NFTs as they are right now, which is still a technology that's in its infancy. I mean, let's be honest, the first real public adoption of NFTs didn't even start until 2017-ish. But when you look at things, a lot of people are skeptical of NFTs just because right now, a lot of it is a big money game. I mean, a lot of people that are into NFTs, it costs a hell of a lot of money for you to get into it.
Dude,
I
it's
mean,
a
when an
crazy
8-bit
money
picture
game.
of a monkey is $500,000 US, that's a staggering amount of money to a lot of people. I mean,
Yeah.
That's
more than
changed
90%
my
of the
life
population.
money. I'll be the NFT if somebody will give me the 500K.
You can
Can I?
own Jared right now for $500,000.
No. You can have a certificate of authenticity that you own an
The
image
real
of me
Jared.
somewhere on the internet.
You can have
An
Jared's
image of
blockchain.
Can we have like a Jared NFT series? Somebody can mint that. It's just different
be like
photos of
this.
him like in a bikini at the beach or something.
What?
I would look good in a bikini though.
Just anything.
That took a
Anything would be
totally
funny.
different turn at the end there.
Him in like a clown. Him in like a clown costume.
All right, so it sounds like Hazen, you're going to be creating a Jared
Yes.
calendar to put on our system, right?
I'm going to create like a fireman calendar of Jared.
Just
Jared.
remember, all proceeds go to Jared Bragg Inc.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, so what do you guys think of the price evaluations on some of these NFTs? Do you think that stuff's selling for too much? Do you think that
Well,
it's not enough? Like,
yeah,
what do you guys think?
personally, like those like crypto kitties and the what is it, crypto punk, I do believe that those are selling for, I think, too much. They're computer generated images, like Hazen was talking about earlier, but stuff like Beeples, his artwork, this man has put the time and effort into it, and is actually, his artwork, it shows. So I do believe, and there's recently a Bob Ross series that you can actually buy the NFT and sell
Where
it,
is
and
that
it can
money
be sold
going?
as many times as you'd like. But once that person actually takes it back to the auction house and trades that NFT, they can get the original Bob Ross painting. So I think in those cases, yeah, the value is there. But with just the simple thing, sorry, I got to throw you under the bus again, Fry. The McRib NFT is
You
an
can
absolute
talk all the shit
joke.
you want, man, but I got a
Whoa,
McRib
wait a
NFT.
minute.
And
Hold on. How
What's
much
happening?
did the McRib NFT go for? I mean, how much money did people give for that?
I have
McRib
no
NFT.
idea.
Is this
I
real?
didn't have to pay anything to
That
get
is
it.
real?
And yes, it's
Yeah,
real.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's free. So that actually is a perfect value for the McRib NFT, because there was no cost associated. You just had to download their app to get it.
Let's just be
They're
honest,
invasive.
guys. As a
app.
McRib enthusiast, we don't have a lot going for us these days. You know what I mean? The thing only comes
It
out
comes
once a
around
year.
once a year. This way
You know,
you can enjoy it all year long.
Yeah, y'all
without
can
the
pick
smell
on me all you
or
want.
You're
it does
long.
look like
The McRib.
it's valued at $20, Fry.
The sim-
$20.
Oh,
That's
dude,
That's
give me
$20
$20.
I got for free.
Fry, give me 5.
That's 5 real McRibs.
Nicely done, dude.
The NFT is officially worth more than
So
the
here's
actual
the question,
item.
Hazen. Can you take the NFT and exchange it to McDonald's for the real thing when it comes into season?
There's no way they'll let you do that ever.
Come on, man.
There's no way
McDonald's
they're gonna
needs
let
to
you do that.
stand behind their NFTs, or else there is no value.
Oh, these big companies, they don't like crypto, man. They're trying to get rid of that. They don't like it. I'm not gonna get into
They
that,
like
but
it. They like
No?
it.
What's
Oh,
behind
I disagree with that. I think they like it. They just
All right,
want to
so-
be in control of it,
Hold
so
on,
they're
Jared,
trying
hold
to
on.
lobby it.
Jared, hold on. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this topic. Will
I'm sorry,
crypto
everybody.
be an accepted form of payment? And will NFTs
Yes.
essentially be your collectibles based off of that form of payment? Because that's
I
really what it
already
comes down to.
bought
in this topic.
something
I-
with a crypto debit card.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah,
the
you
future
get-
of money is crypto in the end. And NFTs are going to eventually become just another,
Asset class.
well, kind of like your main asset. I think when you buy a car, eventually that pink slip is going to just be an NFT. When you buy a house, like was said earlier, that
Yep.
deed is going to be an NFT that can be sold. And which is proof of ownership of the house. So I think
Yep.
stuff like that, even your medical records eventually will become simple NFTs, along with like your driver's license and stuff like that. So in the end, I do believe that
I don't
NFTs
know.
are going to be a very viable form of just our existence in general.
I think of it as a more mass-produced way. Like it can, as long as there are so many blockchains to be created, it can be anything that is like way more mass-produced. Like maybe food companies will like it, like food stamp NFTs. How about that, Hazen?
Yeah, maybe.
They're all
The
unique.
problem is
Barcoded.
that these could be futures for NFTs, but they are technically they already are non-fungible tokens. A deed to a house or some kind of like license agreement for you to own a car. That's a non-fungible token. You can't take a contract, like a bill of sale or something, and exchange it for something of equal value. You can say it's equal value, but because it's unique, it's whatever value you determine it is, you and the person trading. They might be non-fungible tokens, and they may transfer them into digital sort of things, but I don't think that anything that the government collects taxes on, that like a house or something, like a property tax type of thing, they're never ever going to let that. They will fight that violently. They will never let that go on a decentralized ledger. It will never happen unless there's some kind of weird social revolution or something. I don't think. That might be getting a little too crazy, but I don't think that stuff will be on NFTs. I think the future of NFTs is someone like crypto comics, stuff like that. Someone will do things like that where you can own and trade something. I think that there will be eventually somebody will create a platform where you can buy and sell used digital games, and the sale of the used games, like with crypto comics, will support the original developer and publisher of the video game. They'll get a percentage of each used sale. And I think that those game companies will and developers will adopt that, even if it's something that doesn't use crypto, even if it's a platform that's something like a copycat of Steam or something like that. I think that's the future of NFTs. There will be a small subset of people who will use this like they use crypto, and it will grow as people start to see, oh, maybe this isn't a bad thing. Maybe it isn't destroying the environment or anything. Maybe that's not true.
It does require a new form of understanding to really get into that, but it's not too far-fetched in my opinion as well.
Yeah, and I'll add that like right now, a lot of people's opinions on NFTs, they don't actually have opinions on NFTs. This is going to make some people mad, but their opinions on NFTs are determined. Their opinions on NFTs are determined, and I've seen this time and time again, 100% by some famous person or Twitter famous person that they like, and they want to see them. Look, I don't like NFTs just like you. They're bad. I don't like them. Like, and you ask them, what does NFT stand for?
Isn't that how every political discussion, every hot button topic is?
It is. A lot of the time, that's what you see. Yeah,
people get their opinions from somebody else, and they're like, "I'm going to stick behind this." They have no idea what they're talking about.
I can't remember who said this.
Wait a minute.
Somebody said once that people don't have ideas; ideas have people. And I think that with a lot of hot topic type issues, I think that that's absolutely true. I think there's like one person who sets a trend. Yeah. How else do you think some of them Yeezys sell, man? Them things look like RuneScape boots. The things is ugly, and people be wearing them and paying $300 for them on eBay and stuff. No way. They saw somebody wearing them.
Yeah, because the cool people wear them. They want to fit in.
I got a pair of Yeezys, dude, but they look good. They don't look like crap.
I see. You're better than the others that bought the Yeezys.
Not all Yeezys are created equal. I'll say that.
Yeah. All right, I have a question for all of you guys. Let's start with you, SK. What was your first introduction to NFTs?
Oh my gosh. It's been a while now and everything, and I still don't have the best grasp of it, honestly. Because to my way of thinking, it's really difficult to like pin down a digital work of art, and then to actually make sure that the revenue from that work of art actually goes back to the creator. So yeah, I mean, I want to say it was like, I don't know, it was about the same time that I started a Music Maker, actually. I think was whenever I was getting like introduced to like the whole concept of it and everything. And like I said, I still don't think I have like the best idea of like what the future holds for that. Like I'm still in like Napster phase, and the rest of the world is in. Yeah, I'm still exactly. I'm still in Napster phase, and the rest of the world is. Yeah, exactly. And the rest of the world has like moved on past that. And I'm just still like, huh? No, but no.
I just downloaded Napster yesterday.
Did you hear Metallica's really mad?
Oh, it's awesome, dude. I got
Did you
free
hear Lars
music.
got really upset, dude?
Oh, dude, I don't care what Lars thinks. I'm just kidding,
You know-
Lars. I'm just
You
kidding.
know they
buddy.
got
Love you.
copyright struck on Twitch, but playing their own music
What?
at E3.
Yeah.
They were live
They did.
streaming their like the Metallica show they had lined up. I think it was for E3, and the stream got.
I'm sorry.
copyright
That's
struck.
awesome. That is awesome. To get a copyright strike on yourself is awesome.
That's pretty
That's freaking
wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's a
wow.
legendary move, dude. I'll bet they got so much publicity.
That's like
Alright,
the
so-
Everybody's
the
like,
meme with the
"What
guy
do you
sticking
do?"
the stick in the bike wheel.
Matt, what about you? What was your first introduction to NFTs?
Honestly, you guys, I'm going to consider what you guys do NFTs.
Well, thank you. We
Yeah.
do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That was my first introduction. Was you guys being really energetic? I mean, Jared. I mean, he isn't as energetic as he used to be. He's calmed way, way, way down. And
Says
you
who?
guys are the energy, Matt and Fry. Jared has gotten really calm in his advanced age over there. But
It's happened.
just
He's gone.
I think he just dropped
I can't
himself.
believe
off
you
the
would say
screen.
that.
Oh no!
But no, seriously, you guys are like the entry level of NFTs. You guys really had a way to be able to explain it to comic creators and make it make sense. Outside of you guys, it is so far over my head. And hearing somebody like Hazen talking about it, I'm like, one of these days, I'm going to have a fingernail's worth of understanding compared to what that guy has, and I'll feel all right about this. But
Same here.
It's a very simple thing. It's just people, I don't know, they get real technical about the explanations.
yeah. But no, like I said, you guys were the first ones, and really opened my eyes to the fact that there could be something out there. It's still, like you said, it's a technology in its infancy, and will it ever become where the other industries have gone, like digital MP3s and all that? We'll have to see.
Okay. So there's also been a lot of talk about NFTs actually hurting the environment.
Yeah, Hazen had actually mentioned that just a second ago, and
Yeah.
Vivid
Yeah,
also put that in
that's
the
real
chat.
funny to me.
That's funny.
Oh, wow. Check it out.
Destroying
Vivid says,
That's
environment.
hilarious.
That blows my mind.
I am curious about destroying. Well, go get that back up here.
Okay, well, you got to read
I
a
am-
little bit faster. We got a lot of people on the
Yeah.
stream.
Oh my gosh. Too much pressure.
The advanced
Too much
page.
pressure.
Humiliation.
I'm curious about the destroying environment argument. Does blockchain actually do that?
Okay, thanks.
No.
No,
No.
no.
Well,
can.
with the energy
So here's my
consumption
question.
of the-
Here's my question though. Doesn't it depend on the actual blockchain being used? For instance,
Yeah.
Bitcoin
Yes.
has a proof of work, and so that takes a lot of energy to utilize.
Mhm.
A proof of stake does not take a lot of energy to utilize. So if you're using a blockchain that has proof of stake, you're not impacting the environment. Whereas if you use a blockchain of proof of work, you are impacting the environment.
Yeah, and here's the
Yeah.
problem with that is that it's a loaded question. Sorry, Hazen. So
You know.
so different blockchain technologies operate completely different than one another, even if both are proof of stake or both are proof of work.
Oh, okay.
So you're really comparing, like a motorcycle is still a form of transportation, and so is a semi-truck. It's still a form of transportation. One of those gets dramatically better fuel economy. One of them is much, much faster.
the diesel truck,
You know
right?
what I mean? Right. Yeah, exactly, Jared.
Yeah.
But one of them has a lot more usability for heavy loads.
Yeah.
And what people tend to do is they look at numbers for those semi trucks and they say, oh, you know what? Cars only get 4 miles to the gallon. You know what I mean? So all vehicles are terrible. All vehicles are bad.
I
and
don't
you
think
really
they even
can't do
look that far into it.
Yeah, you
Hold on.
kind of have to
Does
look
your
into the
car
way
only
that they
get
operate.
4 miles a gallon?
A loaded semi truck will only get between 4
Okay.
to 8 miles to the gallon. Man.
All right,
Yeah.
all right. Semi truck. Okay.
That's why it
My-
costs
my vehicle gets
hundreds of dollars to fill the tank.
Yeah, and
multiple times.
And they have to have huge, ginormous tanks to roll across states
Mhm.
because they get terrible gas mileage until Elon comes out with his electrical truck.
well, and that's the thing is
Oh,
like
Elon.
is there's the argument that it's not a carbon neutral answer to the financial situation, and most people want a carbon neutral solution because
I have a
paper
question.
is awful. Okay, yeah,
I have a
what,
question. Okay, so generally it's associated that banks are not carbon neutral, and they're not good for the environment and the energy because they use paper and stuff like that. But they also use servers, and they transport a lot of money through the electrical grid and things of that nature. So
POS
they're consuming
machines.
yes. Yes, so
Buildings.
they
A
use
lot
a
of them.
tremendous amount of energy just to make a transaction go. When you use a debit card, you're impacting the environment every day. And who doesn't use a debit card?
What do you exactly know about all these credit card processing companies? How much of the environment they already abuse? How much of it do you already know?
I can tell you a little bit about that, actually.
Oh, let's go.
So, the Ethereum platform, the Ethereum blockchain, right? All of it. We're talking on an average day, according to renewableenergyhub.co.uk, 48.14 kilowatt hours of energy per transaction. Now, transaction, I think what they're talking about is not individual transaction, but like an actual block.
They're talking about a day of transactions.
They're talking about a day of like a block. Well, I think it's a block of transactions. That sounds like a lot of juice, right?
Depending on the number of transactions.
Does that sound like a lot of juice? Yeah. Okay. So here's Visa. According to digiconomist.net, which I haven't actually looked at them. I don't know if they're like a reputable source, but this sounds right based on what I know about banks. Visa uses 740,000 gigajoules of energy for all of its operations. And in 2019, they did 138.3 billion transactions. Now, gigajoules, kilowatt
like
hours,
1,000 kilowatts, right?
149 kilowatt hours is 0.17 gigajoules.
Holy shit!
It's not even
That's enough to
49
send
of them
money
do
back
not
to
even
the
make
time.
one.
I'm learning new things all the time. I'm today years old to learn the word gigajoules.
Yeah, gigajoules is a boatload
You know what I'm
of
saying?
electricity, and they use paper. Visa uses paper. You know what takes a lot of energy? Gasoline coming out the ground to fuel logging trucks and logging equipment.
That's true.
So yes, NFTs has a carbon footprint, but it's like people with warehouses and wherever that just like hog a bunch of graphics cards and they just process transactions all day.
But Hazen, but there's that little there's that little detail there where Visa does a lot of transactions around the world. Now, the NFTs and the crypto isn't that far-fetched yet. Like it's compared to like Visa transactions, very seldom used, like by numbers.
Yeah.
Let's say crypto is the main way we do transactions. How much?
It could be higher. It could be.
It will be higher.
It would be higher.
Yeah, I don't know because I don't know like compared to.
Well, how many transactions does that kilowatt account for again? Does it say the number of transactions that
it says? According to renewableenergyhub.co.uk, it's per transaction. The Ethereum blockchain generates thousands of transactions every day. I have personally watched the Ethereum blockchain. It is way more than thousands transactions every day. I think what they mean by transactions is blocks.
Blocks.
If you know anything about crypto mining, there'll be like 100,000 transactions or 100 to 100,000 transactions in a block, and that's what crypto miners actually solve the problems in that block to create proof of work. And
it's lanes the traffic.
The money transfers.
The traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just a bunch of transactions that a bunch of people's graphic cards look at and go, "Yep, that's a transaction. That's legit." And once 6 people say that, it goes on the ledger and the money transfers.
Well, now that's also one of the reasons why Ethereum is currently working to move over to proof of stake is to reduce that carbon footprint.
Right.
Am I not?
Because people don't generally want to destroy the planet we're living on. We really haven't got anywhere else to go yet. So when people bring up that like, hey, once as this scales up and grows, it might create a big giant problem. It has kind of a carbon footprint now. Typically, what people will do is they'll go, oh, well, we should probably figure out some kind of way to resolve that. I don't know how they're going to change that. A lot of people are going to be mad if they change to some kind of proof of stake that uses CPUs instead of GPUs to process it. But as of right now, I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea like what the science behind that is. But I'm sure they will try to find a way to make this more environmentally friendly.
Well, you've already got a lot of huge steps in that way. One, side chains are huge for doing that.
Yep.
Where a side chain handles, a multitude of all those transactions and then comes back together and writes just one transaction to, say, Ethereum. That's huge because now you're minifying the entire situation by a tremendous amount already. Secondary to that, like I can tell you guys, just if anybody is interested, like Crypto Comics, all of our sidechain operations are run on either hydroelectric or solar power on all of our equipment. Now that can also change. So don't watch this stream like 4 years from now and then get pissed off at me because we're huge and a bunch of people in China are mining our rigs. I can't control that. But right now, like that's the way that it works. You know what I mean? So we're as close.
You're
to doing
everything you can
possibly be.
Everything you can to make sure this isn't dangerous.
Doing it. Right. I think as we go forward, a lot of companies are going to do that. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's not always just because we all care about the earth. We do. Don't get me wrong. But financially, it makes a lot more sense for a business to operate with a lower carbon footprint, mainly because of an item that was brought up earlier, which is gas fees. And those of you who don't understand what gas fees are, that's essentially the cost of you minting an NFT, minting a token. If we're talking about a picture of an ape, it's the cost that it costs you to make that picture of an ape into
any
an
kind
NFT.
of transfer of funds. Like, you know, when you use your debit card, the debit card company gets like 25 to 50 cents every transaction you make with the card. That's gas fees, except it's like $400 for some of the transactions with crypto.
Yeah, and the more carbon neutral that we can make our technologies, the lower that gas fee is going to be, and the lower the gas fee is, ultimately makes it easier for adoption for most end users.
Yeah,
so it's in your business's best interest. You know what I mean? To do this the right way.
That goes back to the beginning of the conversation where we were talking about the gas fees being so high, it wasn't even worth it to try and mint an NFT. If the gas fees were lower, then people would be more eager to at least try and mint an NFT, you know. But you don't want to take a risk on $400 where you might take a risk on $50.
Well, I mean, one of the reasons the gas fees are so insane right now is not because of the carbon footprint only. It's because a lot of people who have like a warehouse with like 100,000 3080s that are just mining crypto all day, they set all their software, their mining software, their hash stuff to, I'm not mining a block of transactions unless it makes me $1,200 per hour. And then, like, you know, if you run into where your block is getting processed by that guy's thing and you don't attach enough of a fee to bring that block up to that reward for that, then it gets bounced around until it finds somebody who's going to be able who's going to be willing to do that. So there's like a cartel of that right now, unfortunately.
So with all the, the carbon footprints, the extremely high prices and everything like that, with gas and just, the cost of NFTs in general, how do we actually keep it from becoming just a wealthy man's game?
I think it's just a wealthy man's game right now.
Yeah, these are all luxury items.
Until us indies break the industry and break through the wall that they've created for us, and we make it so the small man can get in and play. Sup?
I actually think Jared's onto something there. I think that something like Crypto Comics, where you can sell a digital copy of a really good comic for like $1 to $5, as long as it's not too hard to obtain the crypto and pay the gas fees for it. Then a lot of that may reduce piracy. If you can get a comic for $1 and then maybe sell it later for $1.50, $2 or something, even if you don't ever resell it, if you can get something for 99 cents. I think a lot of people would like to own it rather than to try and just steal like a unlegit copy of it.
Yeah.
Here's a really interesting point in with what Hazen is saying. Okay, if you think about the comic book industry, it's been around for a really long time, and comics were extremely low in cost in the beginning, right? 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents. And because of that, an expectation has been set. It's not fair to creators, mind you, but there's an expectation that comics are they go for less money. They go for littler money. And it's not fair. I'm going to say this again. It's not fair. Artists put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to make a comic. Writers put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to make a comic. It's a totally different story, if you will, than writing a story out. However, because of that expectation, what Hayes and Cruz is saying is very, very true. If you are able to offer a comic globally for a smaller fee, you have a much higher chance of selling a lot of copies. So is it better to sell one copy at $1,000, or is it better to sell 100,000 copies at $1?
Yeah. And because it's digital, there's no like overhead with like paper or physical assets shipping. None of that exists.
So that's straight profit.
Yeah, and I think that I'm not going to say personally, okay? I'm not going to tell anybody to go do a federal crime or anything. But
please don't use our platform to do that.
Disclaimer
personally,
right now.
I think if you look into it, you will see that 99% of piracy is born out of people who are like 13 years old. They can't get a job. They want to buy a $60 video game. They can't do that. And their parents aren't going to buy it for them. So they're just going to go pirate it. And they were never going to purchase that game anyway because they don't have the means to. But if you create something that you can viably sell for a low price floor, that those people can get in on that, and it's just $1. I mean, I'll go ahead and own it. And especially if they get it in their head, like, I can resell this later. I might even it might be free. I might make the $1 back. Then you're going to have a lot less piracy for whatever that luxury item is.
Okay, well, since we're talking about these as luxury items, let me go ahead and point this out here. Sorry. JD Smith did us in chat said, we haven't even hit on the scalpers. We're seeing that all the time.
Yeah.
So there's our next topic. Scalpers.
Okay, I'm familiar with the Old West scalpers.
This is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So give me the 411 on a BB scalper.
Well, let's do it this way rather than
People
talking about it rather than talking about it in specific to one element or one platform. Let's talk about like scalping in general. Like right now, electronics are a big thing. The scalping is going into, but comics have always been a part of scalping.
I know one.
Oh, yeah.
I know one.
What's one?
I know a good example. Tickets to a game or a show or something like that. You have a scalper out in the parking lot.
A product that has ties to the physical realm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the most common scalper. I think people. Well, not the most common number wise, but the one people probably recognize as ticket scalpers. Yeah.
So in comics, we have always had those who. So I'm gonna bring one up that's gonna upset a lot of people, and I'm gonna apologize ahead of time because this is gonna bring up some bad memories from real recent.
I'm getting worked up right now, dude.
When the first Ronin cover came out, did you guys remember that? What happened with that? Is people were able to go into their local comic shops and just pre-order 20 copies of that book.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened was no one could find that book. No one. And so essentially the scalpers had got together and created a false market for this book.
Yeah.
So the people that really did want it, you just couldn't get it. And what ended up happening was it generated so much hype that those books were selling for, I forget. I know I saw a couple that were going for like $70 a piece. And it was the craziest thing because I saw actual indie creators that went to their local comic shop, bought 20 copies of this book, and would just post up on social media. I got 20 copies, $50 each. You pay your own shipping. And they were just getting flamed. I mean, people were so upset with them. You know what I mean? And you look at that, you're like, holy crap, bro. Like last month you were trying to promote your Kickstarter. You're going to have a hard time next month.
That's crazy to
that
be
same
doing
thing
that
happened back
under
in the
their real
90s,
name.
though. Death of Superman. I remember everybody standing in line, and the guy ahead of
Yeah.
me, I still remember he bought 25 copies. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to get one. And as soon as I walked up there, he was like, don't worry, I saved you. And he had one of each of the bags. And he was like, here you go. Which one do you want? I'm like, I want both of them. But I bought them because, you know, I'm a collector and I needed to have them. Because at the time I thought it was, you know, that was it. Superman's dead. It's permanent. I was wrong.
Of course you were wrong. It's Superman.
But yeah, now that, you know, I mean, people thought they were going to put their kids through college with that.
I did. 100%. I bought it just to sell it. I didn't care about that comic at all. I was like, I'll take 5 of each one of them. I tried it. It didn't work.
Well, here's
Everybody got 5 copies of that book.
Did you
It's
put up
fine.
an
Next time
example
is
of
gonna make a
actually
movie out of it.
scalping that's going on with NFTs?
Yep. So Vivi announces a drop of, say, Transformer NFTs, and people are lined up online to buy out the NFT and place it for bidding the same day at 4 times the original price. So I think that you're going to see that a lot with NFTs. But I
Yeah,
think the
you're gonna. If
bigger
any
problem
this is
there-
limited quantity, you're gonna see
Yeah,
that.
I think the biggest problem there is that a creator has the ability to mint X amount of NFTs. You know what I mean? And especially when we're talking about comics, like platform like Vivi, even our platform, guys, a creator has the last word on how many copies they want to mint. We have creators that will happily put out 10,000 copies of their book. You know what I mean? And if only 2 sell, they're going to be happy. You know what I mean? If all 10,000 sell, they'll be really happy. But we have other creators who have a brand that they've built up to where the exclusivity is a part of their brand. And so they only want to make 5 copies available, or 1, or 10, or 100, you know, depending on the popularity. We've got specific creators that we will not name that we have seen very, very cool things coming down a pipeline that are going to be so friggin' limited that it's kind of already blowing our minds. And the problem there is that everybody's going to look at those situations as a scalper rather than as early adopters always get the best stuff. But early adopters are the ones that take that chance. They take that risk at the same time.
Well, I just want to touch on this that Vav brought up because it kind of goes in line with what Fry was saying. You know, it might not be popular, but with NFTs, because the creator gets paid each time it gets sold, scalpers actually help the creators now.
That's true.
That's pretty awesome.
That's a step up.
Like I like take a negative and turn it into a positive. It's like taking a frowny face and turning it upside down, guys.
Yeah.
That's a
All
little
right,
bit better.
so
Dude, emojis. Yeah.
Well, the
isn't
other
there
thing
a
is,
way
though,
we can do both with the, you know, exclusivity as well as the kind of mass market by
yeah, make a
you know,
variant,
taking a
make a
comic-
collector's edition.
Yeah.
exactly.
variant covers, man.
Make it
So
make a
just to
variant.
have
that out.
one
Years
variant
Only
of
give
it.
out a certain number to your backers.
Yeah. Make a special variant for your crowdfunding backers.
Yeah,
And then they have to,
yeah,
you have to
and
back
then
it. It's
and
pretty
make
hard
it
to
so
scout
that
that.
only they
Yeah.
get it, and the only way anyone else could get it is if they buy it from them. That's
Yeah.
a great idea, Hazen.
And then you just have like a regular cover that is on, you know, there's no limit to it.
Yeah,
Or
That
there's
way
like a big
anybody can
limit.
still
There's like a big
enjoy it.
limit, you know, 5,000 copies or something that way. Because if it's unlimited, why would you ever buy a resale?
JD Smith comes
I
in
can't
and says,
believe
"I took my
you thought
copy
a
of-"
character was dead, did you?
JD Smith comes in and says, I took my copy of The Death of Superman to my college payment center, and they laughed. Not because I tried to pay for my school with a comic, but that I actually believed a comic character was dead. It's true.
Deadpool
You
corrected
asked for
all
that
of our
one.
thought processes on that.
And Vav agrees, 5 first editions and 10,000 general run.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
This is
definitely doable.
This is kind of what we do with the crowdfunding stuff with Vivid. I'm not, you know, trying to like make sale here, but like the way we do things with creators usually is the crowdfunding campaign. That is your first edition, and there's never another first edition. There's never another print of that book that has first edition anywhere on it. So if you get it later, it's the same book. It just doesn't say first edition. Little reward for people for believing in us as we're crowdfunding.
Yeah, but
stuff.
That's awesome because people who do help campaigns and who do help creators go the distance, because those campaigns are not easy, I think they deserve that. That's a really great way to give them a freaking high five,
Yeah.
a slap on the back, and a big old thank you. You know,
Like
when
even if
when
you just get the book, yeah. Even if you don't get any of the
Yeah.
frills or anything like that, you get a
Mhm.
digital copy of it, and you get a first edition, actual physical like hardcover copy of it.
But as a collector, that matters, man. Like I've
Yeah.
It does. It really
That matters
does.
to me.
Matt's
Yeah.
book is right there, and I had to have that, and it's the first one. Well, it's the first one I saw. I'm going to say it that way. It's actually issue number 3, but it's the first one
Ooh.
I saw, and I had to have it. It is the first time I saw somebody. Again, I apologize about the language, but I saw somebody with the balls to put a Garbage Pail Kids cover on a comic, and I
That
had
was
to have it.
awesome. That was an awesome
Like,
cover.
Appreciate
Had
it.
to have it.
Hey, so listen. Just a side note here. You do know what the homages we did with the most recent campaign we have going on, which is actually going on as we speak. It's for Heirs of Isildur, and we took our my love for Metalocalypse, and we took our characters and turned it into a Metalocalypse homage cover. We took the Heirs of Isildur logo, made it into the Metalocalypse logo, and we mashed up a couple of. There's no real Metalocalypse like singular image, so we took a couple of cool images that they have and put them together.
That's some
Can
king
we
stuff.
pull that up, Matt? Can we?
Yeah, it's absolutely on our
see it?
campaign for
Jamie,
sure.
can we pull that up?
And the reason I was late getting onto the stream was we had to get to a specific point on the campaign before we revealed one of our fun items, and we do a lot of work with a leatherworking company that is near us, and we had to get to a specific level to reveal the thing they did, and they actually made custom leather pouches / dice bags that are branded for our campaign on the campaign. So here we go. Heirs of Isildur, the
Oh,
Perilous
right on,
Prospects. Number 1. Now, you guys would probably dig the video we did here. We actually had tons of fun. Had a pro company come in, cut our video for this. Even though this is a continuation of the overall Heirs storyline, this is number 1 in the Perilous Prospect story. So you see some of the art. We are super stoked with the art that's in here. It's going to be 48 pages, perfect bound, having a spine on the side of the book and everything, so it can go on your actual bookshelf. So if you keep on going down, you're going to be able to see some of the covers or some of the characters you're going to come across in here. So there's cover A, which is a fun cover. Really, if you read our previous stories, you've seen that scene before, but this one kind of starts there. There's the Metalocalypse homage cover by Chris Rao, who goes
That's
viral.
awesome.
He goes viral every year with his Kansas City Chiefs art, even having the Chiefs players themselves ask for him to do art of them. That's our foil cover C.
rad.
Then we decided we were going to do a reverse sketch cover this time. So instead of it being a white sketch cover, it's a black sketch cover so that the artists have to draw in paint pens on the cover for you.
Nice, dude.
Oh, check this out, too. We got Crutchy coming in chat. Andrew Dodge saying, I'm going to be immortalized in this issue.
Andrew from
Oh, nice.
Dodge,
Cool.
Andrew Dodge has busted some freaking hump on this campaign, and he is going to be drawn into issue 2. So he's not drawn into issue 1. The reason being is because issue 1 is a couple of pages away from being completely done. So we didn't want people to pay to buy in, because we always will create actual characters for people. There you go. You see the floral shirts that I have on right now. There's some socks we're going to have that are...
At this point, Andrew Dodge is in more comics than Bruce Wayne. Let's be realistic.
I love it. Now there's the leather work. There's we literally, like 5 minutes before I got on this broadcast, that leather work just got debuted. That is the Michael's Traveler's Pouch. There's going to be 5 different variations, and you can use it for anything. You can use it for your supernatural parts for machines, or you can use it for your D&D dice, or whatever the heck else you want. Just get one. Got some glow in the dark stickers on there.
Oh, cool! That's the design on your shirt.
Yep, that's the new design, a new emblem that we have in this story. Now you'll find out why that emblem comes to be when you get into the story. And then we always have it in our campaigns where you can add on anything else that was in anything we've done previously. If you want to get the cool Garbage Pail Kids homages, because we've now done 3 of them. If you want to get the Garbage Pail Kids homages, you can do that. We did do vinyl records of their most recent album. One thing we talked about earlier, we do have a metal side to this, metal music. I'm a metal musician, and so there's a metal soundtrack so much that goes with this. And if you've seen let me say this, vinyl is probably the best argument for NFTs there could ever be, because vinyl records take for freaking ever to get pressed. It was supposed to be 11 to 14 weeks, turned into 14 to 18, then 3 months, then 6 months. So we are still waiting to get the vinyl in from the campaign we did last summer. It is unreal. But the thing is that even record labels, it's like 8 months to a year for them to get their vinyls.
Whoa.
Well, a lot of
So
that's
is it
off the
due to the
popularity
supply
and
chain issues or something?
yeah.
What's that?
Mm.
The reason being is because there's only a few places in the world that press vinyl. And so think about it like this. Back in the 80s, when vinyl started to like fade out, nobody was like, oh, let me go invest $250,000 into a new vinyl pressing plant so I can just get some, some vanity vinyls. But in the last 5 to 10 years, what's the big explosion been in vinyl is custom vinyl with splatter patterns and all kinds of different colored vinyl. And the market has boomed. Record labels sell 30 to 40 records to every one CD. And people want the collectability of them. They like the fact that it looks cool. They want that old school sound. And the plants can't keep up. The front offices of those plants are still like in the 80s doing everything on paper and pencil and not collaborating between salespeople. So it's been a complete mess. But we're gonna have those vinyls in soon. But yeah, like I said, that's probably a great a great argument for NFTs, because that is a physical medium that, as cool as it is a complete nightmare in just getting into your hands.
You could say that, Matt, but I'm still going to unbox my vinyl once I finally get it. So
you better. I'm telling you what. We've literally had to set like a budget aside to be like, hey, this is the budget for when the vinyls come in. We can take the people's vinyl and just get them back to the door as quick as possible, so we don't touch it anywhere else. Because it's so long ago that we collected the money on that Kickstarter, but we can only do so much, man.
Well, and so that's the other thing is supply chains like SK for Music Maker to get a physical copy of that, also up on my wall right behind me. Where is that bad boy? Oh no, it's right by myself.
Nice.
It gets covered by my giant head. So my apologies. It's the only one my mom gave me. I make do with it. You know what I mean? But like that with supply chain, I know that you ran into a lot of issues with that, and so now you've restored over to utilizing, I think you said Facebook, right? And people could just contact you to get a copy directly. But
Facebook Facebook and just like literally walking into comic book shops and going to cons. Like that's been the primary thing for like so long and everything. That and like crypto comics.
So do you see NFTs as being a benefit for that, being able to give you a global audience, or do you see?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. Because there's the added benefit that you don't have to worry about it being, you don't have to how do I put this? You don't have to pre-print the books up and everything and have them like hang out in a warehouse somewhere until you have the opportunity to get them out to people. You get them into hands a lot quicker, and you get the stories into hands a lot quicker.
I like that. Plus, I really like your book. And her book's also got audio inside of Crypto Comics, which is pretty rad because you don't actually get that with a physical copy. Well, you do. You get a QR code.
You get the
hold
QR
on, Fry. Hold on, guys. I just want to point out that SK was the first creator that brought soundtrack to the marketplace and is the reason that we started working on the soundtrack feature and the sound feature so early on to get it to where we've got it now, which is pretty stellar. I mean, it's really starting to evolve. So thank you, SK Malvo.
That is right.
No, thank you.
Excellent.
For being such an awesome creator that showed us initiative and intellect and creativity and all those big words I don't know how to use very well, but you are fantastic. And I do want to address a question real quick from Vav. Sorry to bring up what might be a sore subject. No subject is sore. But when is all of this going live? I'm considering publishing some things going forward with you, but I do kind of need to get paid. So let me talk to you about that, Vav, because yes, you do need to get paid. And it's not a sore subject. What it is this has been an endurance run. We hit the ground running many years ago, and we thought that we completely understood where we needed to be. And as we have traveled this path, we have seen what's happening around us, we've always been very, very, very direct in our path that we want to work with creators and we want to be a great place for creators. And in doing that, there is some aspects that need to be done for creators, and we're seeing the problems evolve as these other people are running to the finish line to get these sales that are just happening, and everybody's joyous, many NFTs being sold all over, yay! I like to say,
Get me more monkeys.
Right? And the problem is these people are running to the money, but they're not thinking about the people who need that money, which are the creators. And we've always made it our mission to empower creators and the fans. And so we aren't live yet. We're still in beta. We've had to change course a bunch of times, and this is something that it's not great to be the one to say, oh, we aren't there yet, but I am so proud of my team because we're not there because we've held to our word and we care. And so we're going to get there when we know that we're going to be able to deliver on our mission statement, which is to empower creators and fans. That's what's holding us back right now. Now, as far as being able to participate in the marketplace, there's a lot of things that we are doing to make it so that creators can actually utilize the marketplace, even though sales can't be made. So for instance, you can put a preview in the marketplace and actually share out the reader to showcase your work, a few pages without someone signing up into the marketplace. So you can use our reader as a marketing tool. And I don't know any other platforms that would be willing to do that. So we are doing things to make it so that creators can be empowered with marketing tools, even though we aren't to the point where you can get paid yet. However, a few streams ago, we did announce that our target goal is this summer. So we are very, very confident at this point that we are on track to hit that goal. So I'm really happy to say that we feel that way now. With that said, we don't know what's coming. As you see, a major thing just happened with OpenSea. Although it was, something old-fashioned, it still was major. And so we are stepping very meticulously because, like indie creators, we are the indies of the crypto comic space. We don't have Big Daddy Warbucks sitting in our corner feeding us money whenever we want. We're doing this bootstrap style. We're fighting for every inch that we get. And so also, I believe that we are working on a feature, and Fry, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are working on a feature where people can come into the marketplace and set up their books for release once we hit live. They're able to join, they're able to put it, but it's behind an iron curtain, so to speak, to really protect the creator, because we understand that you got to get paid. And our heart always is so grateful for all those who have contributed to this marketplace to allow us the opportunity to really work on this, because without them, we would have never got to where we are at, ever.
Well, and I will also add that Vav is in the system, and thank you for dropping the stuff that you have dropped in there.
Yeah,
we see you.
That's right.
I would like to add something to what Jared said real quick. The first time we actually had to take a step back and kind of reevaluate things, everything was going great. We were kind of on track. This is early on, and all of a sudden we started talking to comic book shops, and they were like, hey, if this goes live as of right now, you're going to put us out of business. And we all are huge fans of, the comic book industry. And one of the major components of that is the comic shops. So we had to take a step back and kind of reevaluate things, as Jared has been saying. So that way comic book shops can sign up, their local creators and all that kind of stuff, and actually benefit from this system as well. So it is an ongoing thing. It's a daily struggle to get everything lined up perfectly so everybody can essentially make a living, but we are well on our way.
Well, and essentially additional features
ahead,
too is one other thing I wanted to bring up. Like SK was mentioning, like SK's been around for a while, y'all. She's been around for a bit with us, and we appreciate her absolutely. But that's one of the things we never anticipated, that comic books would have soundtracks. We're comic nerds. When's the last time you saw that? You know what I mean? And so immediately when we saw her book, we were like, hey, here's something new. Let's make it so that this is fully usable. And so we take a little bit of extra time and we build out those features. I mean, Hazen's trying not to make facial experiments here.
Facial experiments.
Yeah, my bad. Facial expressions, but like I can say that Hazen Cruz has been helping us a lot with additional features that we're not allowed to talk a whole lot about right now. But
Mainly cool just stuff. Me running my mouth, yeah, but yeah.
Hey, and just to keep Fry from spilling the beans, I just want to say to Digi, hey, it's very intimidating and nerve-wracking to talk from the heart and off the cuff, because I ain't going by script, and that's why very, 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 very comes out so often.
I love how I also puts drink water, Jared.
Oh, thank you. Great call, buddy.
Hey, listen, y'all, I'm gonna have to peace out, but I'm glad I could be a part of this. This has been great. All right, thanks.
Oh, we always love having you.
Later, SK. Thanks for dropping in.
Thanks. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
And so we were talking about places where everybody can find stuff. Miss Faze, I know that you've got a Patreon that you had mentioned.
Yeah.
So where can people find that? Let me make sure we give you an opportunity to plug here.
It's Patreon.
You may need to give them a little disclaimer.
No, it's
what kind of disclaimer? What's going on, Faze?
Adult work. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I thought it might be important to preface it with that.
Sure.
Hey,
why do both
put the disclaimer itself
at the same time?
Hey.
Oh, is that what's going on, Matt? You Googling it right now? Whoa,
here's what's happening. Okay.
Well,
Google my name and you'll see.
when we were going to talk about Patreon, I was like, okay, let's bring it up. I was looking for it, and it's like, it's adult.
Oh man, at least there's 2 Dolphins fans on the stream. I feel like
Oh my goodness. Sorry.
So, Miss Faze, I think that we were at a point where they're asking you where you could find your stuff, and then they all decided they wanted to Google the adult content. So why don't you go back to before that, and why don't you tell us where you can find your stuff? There you go, guys. I've gotten the feedback on track.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. I was obviously I was stuck.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's obviously not my original work.
It's your original work.
I mean, it's not originally themed work. It's fan work. I've been doing it for like 5 years, and I've been paying the bills over here. I live in Turkey. And I'm trying to break out of this fan stuff and do my original stuff, but I kind of am in between like motivations right now. But other than that, it's going well. And you can just find it at patreon.com/Miss Faze. And what you're going to see is a lot of adult work in a very niche form that you might just learn about it if you Google it.
So if you're under 18, do not. That's the moral of the story.
Okay. So Matt and Fry do not.
Yeah. Maybe when you're older.
They were born in the
Maybe when you guys are older. I am going to go check it out. No.
I can't wait for this.
Just remember, your wife checks your internet history.
I know how to use that private browser that Google tracks.
He says as he picks up her phone and starts typing in Google.
You thought that, huh? I was like,
oh, jeez.
So,
okay, and hold on one sec before you go. And Hazen, where can everybody find your stuff? I'm gonna verbalize it that way. I don't know if that's accurate. Is that
well? Yeah, I do a lot of things. I kind of screwed up when I was younger, and I learned how to do a bunch of stuff instead of one thing really good. So my work is kind of scattered out there. I'm on Newgrounds. I think you can go to hazeandcruise.newgrounds.com. You can listen to a lot of my music that I produce that way, what I've released anyway. I am trying to do an album here this year, but there's not really anything announced about it yet. And frankly, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. It may happen, it may not. But my music stuff's on hazeandcruise.newgrounds.com. You can go to youtube.com/hazeandcruise and view my my videos where I review anime and tell you what sucks and what's good.
Nice. You can also find them in Dreamkeeper's comics.
Yeah. Well, I'm not technically there, but the comic there is great, and I work with those people pretty closely. So, yeah, that comic is definitely, I would say, go read that first before you look up anything else about me. Go here to dreamkeeperscomic.com. This is going to be a lot more well-produced stuff that you're probably going to enjoy a whole lot more. And it's what you're used to wanting to read. And it's like comics and stuff. You can support this stuff pretty easy.
I was actually referring to the badass video content that you put together for Dreamkeepers. But sure, you can.
Some of it I put together. Yeah. Those are joint efforts. But yeah, I do a lot of the voice work for the video stuff. And a lot of the music for some of it.
That's why it sounds so bad, eh? Right.
So much fun.
But yeah, go to check that out.
Jeez, I just fricketed the whole freaking thing.
All right, Crypto Matt, you go ahead and say what you were going to say.
So a while ago, we had a question, kind of, how do you make an NFT? But kind of my question for the group is, with creating the NFT, how do you think that compares with the copyright laws? Do you still feel like you have to go, through the government and actually create the copyrights? How do you think that protects you versus just the NFT?
Well, isn't that going against the whole thing about? Isn't that going against the whole point of crypto when you go to the government about something like that?
That's right, FaZe. You are gorgeous. You are gorgeous.
Oh
yes.
Boy, you still, even to sell an NFT of something, I would say even especially to sell an NFT of something and award someone copyright over it, you still should have to register your trademark and copyright with whatever your local government has. Otherwise, anybody can just take your artwork and say, yeah, I got a copyright for this. Sure, it's mine. Whatever. I drew it. It's me. I did that.
Will we ever get rid of these shackles? Oh.
Yeah, that's how. That stuff. I get like why some people don't like it, but it does exist for a reason, and it does have its advantages. And until something better comes along,
ideally, the NFT itself should work as its own trademark.
Exactly.
In some way, it should. Yeah. And you can, when you sell an NFT of something, not all NFTs award you ownership of that image or commercial use of it too. So you have to be, you have to read the contract, the fine print.
It's all in the terms of service. Yeah.
So somebody bought like the Lord of the Rings NFT and thought they were buying the rights to the book or the rights of the book or something like that for like $4 million or some crazy.
I think that was Amazon. I think that was Amazon.
They should have read the terms of service, terms and conditions, baby. That's what those are for.
Hey, you missed, pal.
Well, actually, when it comes to Lord of the Rings, wouldn't that be in public domain anyway?
Oh no, Tolkien Estate still owns that. No.
Oh
yeah, Tolkien Estate owns it.
Naughty over that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody did not understand NFT at all. That's again just a great fact of why the NFT space is so neat, is so cool, is so new. So as you're traveling out
millionaires are wasting their fortunes. Watch as their wallets are drained into the common man's hands.
It's kind of a beautiful thing, really. It's the best transfer of wealth I've seen in a long time.
It's like the GameStop
that's how the transfer of wealth should happen. The poor man finally getting a piece of the pie with an ugly freaking picture of a monkey. Woo!
Those monkeys, dude.
Those monkeys. They're making an animation out of that.
They should.
They are.
It's
gonna be
we might be laughing, but those creators are very happy people right now. And say what you will, those guys.
The people who generated the AI,
Yeah.
They're millionaires now because
I
of
saw
those
Gwyneth
umbrellas,
Paltrow
dude?
got one of those apes.
some of the people who bought those and sold them are millionaires now because of what they've sold.
Yeah,
the-
they're
the
finding
la-
a way
the
to make it
lazy-
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
my
lazy
rule of thumb
apes
is
or whatever they are.
Yeah, those little series things that are ugly like AI generations. My rule, if I have the money to get into those, would be buy when they happen, when they start, and then you just try to like quadruple what you put into it, and then get out. Like don't
I
dig
agree
back
with
in.
Digi. They are sad people.
They are sad people.
But here's
I don't know,
an
man. They probably have
interesting
jet
interesting
skis.
point if I can find it. Hold on one second, because Digi had brought up something in relation to those
I
back
bet
at
they
the beginning.
cried to
If
sleep.
I can find it.
Okay, well, while
Hold
you're
on
looking
one.
for it, let me bring this up. Dominic says, okay, I have to ask Hazen, how many total sound effects do you have?
3.
You don't want to know
I think
Three.
the correct answer to that would just be yes.
all of them.
Okay, so here's what Digi said, and this is probably like as close to what these NFTs that are selling for bazillions are.
The copy-paste
Copy-paste projects. Pick an animal, humanoid it a bit, make a portrait of it, swap out a tire, rinse and repeat, garbage.
I mean, he's right. They're not like artistically, and you know, art is about aesthetics. Art is about subjective stuff, whatever. I believe there's art that's objectively bad. Okay, there is art that anybody can look at that and go, oh, and those things are like that. I don't think any of those people who bought those things are really like, I love this, man. This is so great. Like, look at the composition here. Like,
Look at the pen strokes.
It's awful. It looks like a bootleg Rick and Morty monkey thing or something. Like,
but that's the thing. They're not buying it for talent purposes or for the
no.
You know,
They're buying for
heart
FOMO.
and talent of a creator. Yeah, they're doing it because there's a fad going on and media's going, oh my gosh, these are worth something, and somebody with a lot of money is going, what? I could buy something worth a lot of money. I got a lot of money.
There's two types of people who consume these NFTs. There's the people who buy them when they come out, and those are people who hope to resell them for more money. In my opinion, the smart people who are buying these things are reselling them. And then there's the end users of these things that are paying like hundreds of thousands of dollars to obtain like a specific one that they want. And they get that. Like, I'm not kidding. This is really happening. They're having custom hoodies and stuff made with these things
Self-marketing.
Yeah, and they're like, I own this, and that, like, you see them talk on Twitter, and they're just like, I went through like 6 different airports today on my way to the Bahamas.
They're buying it just to go on Ellen.
No one complimented me on my Bored Ape. Like, are hoodies out of style now? Like, what's the deal, guys? Like, those are the kind of people who are purchasing these things right now. I'm not kidding. This is really happening. And in it, that will go away. Like, that is a fad. That part of that is a bubble.
Yeah.
It will burst. It will go away. What we will be left with is a cool, decentralized system that you can, own stuff through that nobody can take away from you. And I think that's that's the part of the life cycle for NFTs where what they can do and the advantage of them are really going to shine.
I think NFTs actually offer an additional advantage that most people don't realize they offer, and that's the community. Right now, there's a huge community of people that hate NFTs. Congratulations. You found yourself a bunch of people to be with you. But on the same token, there's a positive element to this. So, for example, if it wasn't for NFTs and wasn't for this technology, me and Matt would never work together. Me and Matt never working together would mean that we never had Andrew Dodge as a part of our community inside of the chat. Andrew Dodge inside of our community inside of the chat means that a lot of creators like Matt Knowles here would have a more difficult time with their books because somebody like Andrew Dodge is so out there when it comes to backing and supporting a lot of these projects that these indie creators are making. And what it's doing is it's cultivating this community around itself of people that really just give a shit about creators. You know what I mean? That just want to see creators do something cool. And that's what you want to invest your money into. That's what you want to see move forward. You know what I mean? Hazen, me and you would have never met. You know what I mean? Like, anybody.
Oh, yeah, I guess not.
Hey, we didn't meet until tonight. So what's up?
And NFTs for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that ultimately what it comes down to is that NFTs have proven to be a type of key that kind of unlocks the ability for a community to circulate around things like social media or distance. And we saw things happen like, you know, COVID hitting and everything shutting down everywhere. And we realized that all of these elements were still able to continue rolling, and you don't lose that collectible value. If I call up Hayes and I say, hey, I just got volume 5, I got the limited edition, it's so rad. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's digital, it doesn't matter if it's physical, it doesn't matter on any of those things. What matters is that people are talking about an indie creator and about what they're putting out. And if NFTs allow that to happen on a global aspect, like, let's be honest, guys, we're surrounded by a lot of countries. I shouldn't say surrounded, but there's a lot of countries around the world, we'll put it that way, where it's extremely difficult to get a hold of indie comics or indie art, you know what I mean? Indie elements. Like, FaZe, you're in Turkey. You know what I mean? I'm willing to bet that you can't go to a local comic shop and get anything that Matt Knowles made.
What local comic shop?
What?
Exactly.
We have to fix this.
Tell them about trying to import anything.
Oh, man, that's
the
gnarly.
shipping costs are like 4 times the price of anything you can get.
Or just trying to ship something.
And then you get taxed 200%.
We have to put like $37 shipping charges on stuff that we send to Europe, and it's like
37.
Those shipping charges are insane, but it is what it is. I mean,
have you tried Middle East? Is 75.
Have you shipped anything to Russia yet, Matt?
Nothing to Russia, nothing to the Middle East, but hopefully one to Turkey here very soon, Miss FaZe.
We have shipped stuff to Russia, and it like one book cost $125 to ship to Russia through U.S. Postal Service or DHL, UPS, anything. We don't ship through FedEx ever, but to ship something to Russia is $125 to ship it, and then the recipient has to pay God knows what in import fees. One book.
But you look at that though, and say, you know, what's the value of that book? $40, $50 of the book.
The book that we saw, the volume 5, I think is like 50, 60. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to say $50 with $120 fee to deliver it. Now you factor those two things in, and then the cost of printing, the cost of shipping to get it to the creator, the cost of logistics, the cost of packaging materials, the cost of running the campaign to get everything going. When you break everything down, guys, these indie creators are making absolutely scratch off of that one book. You know what I mean?
Anything international shipping? Yeah.
So many.
Because you charge that for shipping. You tell people, like, if you're in Russia and you contribute this campaign, it's going to be $125 to get a book out to you. And then you have eyes bulging out of their head, like, why is it going to cost that? I was like, I don't know. Ask your government.
Right. And when you factor in the person that's receiving that book and the duty fees, the import taxes, all of those things that they have to pay, quickly it becomes that book is actually a negative value overall. You know what I mean? Aside from what is in that book is what matters. And the thing is we talk about things like gas fees on Ethereum networks being outrageously huge. You know, we talk about how that's getting a lot better with side chains and with elements like that. You know, things like Polygon have changed how even platforms like OpenSea is working, and you factor all that in. But what people don't realize is that ultimately, in the end, this is a cheaper option, or it's a less expensive option to get the same quality of story that you'd still be able to get. And ultimately, it's the collectors and the creators in the end that benefit the most. It means that all of those extra steps through the middle just got cut out. So you can go directly and support those creators, whether it's music or comics or art or photos of Jared's farm or whatever NFTs you want.
Check this out. You know, I also there's a really super cool comment from Vav, and it reminds me of "We Are the World, We Are the People." You know what I mean? That cool song where we're all coming together. We've been making fun of people who have been buying NFTs, okay, at super outrageous prices. And I just want to say, actually, we appreciate you guys. And this is a really good point, because they could be doing it for historic purposes. They are buying for having the unique piece of a new technology. And really, honestly, without those people who are buying, you know, NFTs right now and creating that awareness and creating that big noise about it, this is not possible, which is a paycheck for creators in the digital realm that's going to help them make more. And it goes right into what you're talking about. Once this arena develops, creators are going to be able to make and deliver goods to the masses at a rate at which they can make a profit, a good profit, a living, to where they can make a living doing what they love to do. And that is true empowerment. That is awesome.
Yeah. Woo. Jared, sometimes it makes me think like all this monkey NFTs and all that stuff, like reminds me of like, what did Sumerians do when they first invented money? Some people made fun of them, like, what? You're giving like a piece of bronze for rice?
Oh, you are going to trade shells for bread?
Yeah. What are you doing?
I do think the first instance of like currency that I know recorded is the Egyptians, which they used bread.
I thought Sumerians was a.
Sumerians may have had a currency. I don't know. Too much
Sumerians
there.
predate the Egyptians.
They predate most civilizations, yeah. But
yeah,
I don't know about
they're
the
like
currency.
The epicenter. But the thing is FaZe, you're totally right. You're totally 100% right. There was a concept there of trade that was developed, and people probably did laugh at them and looked at them at first as like, you're crazy. I ain't giving you my chicken for that piece of whatever you want to call it. You stamped a face on. I don't care. Whose face is that? I don't know them. And then they started to realize, wait a minute, with this kind of transaction capabilities, we can work together more as human beings and put humans together first. Unity is key. Our planet, we want to, everybody's like, oh, the environment, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, what's the first aspect of helping the environment? People have to come together. Stop blowing shit up. Stop creating waste, use things over and over, recycle together. It's unity. It's bringing everyone together. And honestly, the NFT technology, blockchain technology, what's so beautiful about it, and it's so in its infancy, it's so misunderstood right now, is that the blockchain aspect is going to help unite the world because it crosses country borders and gets rid of the people ruining our lives, which are governments. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. It's just conspiracy.
It's a whole joke there. Yeah. Now, people thought like, what is everybody watching this on right now? Either probably a smartphone or computer of some kind. Like when computers first came out, people thought that like you want to put like this in people's homes for some reason. This is insane. No one's gonna want this. Like Xerox had a graphic user interface. Here's a little history lesson for you guys if you ever watched Silicon Valley. Xerox created a graphic user interface and they had no idea what to do with it for their printers. And they were just like, what? Like, okay, well, I guess this isn't very much use. And then Bill Gates and Steve Jobs approached them and were like, we want this graphic user interface. And they, I don't think they asked too many questions about what they want to do with it, but they gave them either a license
like
to use it or
$70,000.
Yeah, it was like less than $100,000. Of course, back in the 70s and 80s, that was a little more money.
Probably,
but they purchased it for that, and Bill Gates will never have to work again in his life. Him and Steve Jobs did work. Steve Jobs, I think, worked until he died, but they because of the graphic user interface, not only are those people billionaires. Well, Steve Jobs isn't now, but the computers are like an integral part of how we interact with people now and how we do daily things. So, and I'm not saying NFTs is going to go that far. I don't think they will. But what I'm saying is when new stuff comes out, there's always a gigantic crowd who thinks it's insane. There are people who say, Bitcoin will never get over $100. You're insane.
You're saying there's a scrap technology. Hazen, you're saying there's a scrap technology that's not quite being utilized very well. It's some magic person or some magic thing that's going to occur. It's like fit like a puzzle piece and actually make everything make more sense and everyone's going to accept
Miss FaZe, let me tell you about CryptoComics.com. Oh, sorry.
I think that with NFTs, it's just going to be a gradual thing because we live in the information age now, and it's a little bit different how things catch on and don't catch on. And I think that something like crypto comics is going to blow up at some point, and people are going to go, oh, like, well, I can just like buy and sell used things. I think this will be great for video games. I don't think the way they're applying it to video games right now is great, but I think, like, let's say that you, instead of when you bought something on Steam, you bought an NFT instead of a license to play it. You would actually own a copy of the game that you could resell. And when you resell it, not only do you get money, but the person who published it or created it also gets money. Elden Ring's coming out in like 3 days. Imagine if you played Elden Ring for 2 weeks and beat it, and you were just like, oh, this was cool. I think I'll sell this as a used copy now, my digital copy. And you got $40 back for it. So now you paid $20 for the experience. Somebody else paid $40. They get to have the same experience. And the creator still gets like $5 or something off that sale.
What's funny is that GameStop announced 2 weeks ago that they were starting an NFT platform just for that reason.
Oh, really? I
think
really haven't read
everyone
about that.
sees it going that way. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I trust GameStop with that, but
well, and
but,
just so you know, I mean, everything is going this way. There are large corporations who see the writing on the wall. They are buying up trademarks in metaverse landscapes, you know, like constantly. And it's you know, it's a sad day that the big dogs might buy up all the property and make us rent, but you cannot reject the idea when you know that those people with money are looking at it and going, there's something here. Because if they see that, they put millions of dollars into think tanks, which is just people sitting around going, what should we think about today? You know, I mean, what the heck?
Well,
hey, those people also came up with Crystal Pepsi. Let's be honest here.
Great point.
I think
Great point.
I think that a lot of these big companies are buying, you know, whatever real estate or NFTs type stuff right now because someone has them convinced that there will be a future in this eventually. But every time you see somebody come out, like the creator of the Stalker series, the Chernobyl, like and I don't even know like how to say it. You're a guy who goes into like the Chernobyl crazy zone where you get like artifacts and stuff. There's like a whole little economy inside the zone. It's a video game series that's got a big cult following. They announced, hey guys, we're going to have some NFT stuff available for the game. You don't have to get it to play the game. It doesn't affect your gameplay at all. It's just if you want to get it, you can. And all it is you buy a token that says that we'll put your character in the game as like a merchant or something like that. And it doesn't affect anything in the gameplay. There were thousands of people on Twitter calling for a boycott of this company just because they wanted to do this. That is how volatile, that's how much venom there is around this right now. And the game companies think that like they're going to do this and people are just going to go, you know what? Okay. It's just going to take time, but I do think this is the future of digital stuff for games.
Just to add something to that, Hazen, it's not only going to take time, it's going to take ethical and moral people to actually do good things with the technology and put forth humankind and humanity first instead of the almighty dollar. You know, if more people would unite behind the common cause and goal of progressing humanity in a good way and do that first, and then, you know, that's what's going to really help this get established, because this can be a great thing for people.
Jared,
this can help lift people out of poverty.
Jared, can I just say that I believe in none of that? But I'll say this much. I have a more cynical view on this, but I think our
no. Tell me your view. You're thinking that they're going to own us, right?
No. I think our projections were entertaining. It's not going to be in a way where everyone's going to hold hands and sing songs together. I think.
Why not?
It's because it has never been that way. Believe me, I live in the Middle East.
Now wait a minute. That's what they want you to think.
But the thing is,
just remember that.
The utilitarian point of view is that when people understand the NFTs will actually make them some use, we will be of use to the individual person, as opposed to it's not right now. It's just the same as like rich people buying like big pictures of nonsense. It's like modern art that people don't understand. That's not understandable. That's not empathizable. Like they're not gonna be into that. But the moment it seeps into video game market, and I think the video game market will be key here. I wanted to talk about that part. the moment it actually proves its use in a functional manner to the individual and to the average person, then people will understand it's not going to be a unification. It's going to be the end point of it. It's going to happen. People will unify. Just as when Steam first came out, it unified people. It's the same thing.
Everybody has stuff on Steam now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people didn't want to go there because, there are so many people on Steam. It's just because it was cheaper. It was more convenient than just going to GameStop and huddle with their people that trying to sell you their membership cards. No, just you can buy it.
You could go on Steam and you could get the entire Warhammer 40K, like everything up to the current point of when it was made, if there was a sale, for like $30. I believe it. That was what made me get on Steam.
Imagine you remember when before Steam, most of the games wouldn't work in a specific PC, and Steam kind of like fixed that too. Like you didn't have to do much managing with that because I don't know.
You didn't have to like manually update stuff, things like that. Yeah.
I love you too.
Go ahead and read it.
Okay, I'll read it. Okay. We love Miss FaZe because I'm almost with her. We do need to go after the money, but in going after the money in a way that each person goes for their own self-interest, that is the tipping point. She's on utility for the average person. It will be about the money, but that isn't bad or dirty. It is about a better life.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying that our projections intervene.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you still have to buy.
I want to live in my ignorant, happy rainbow world where unicorns are dancing around and
boy, do I have a movie for
cotton
you.
Candy. You know what I'm saying?
So how do we go, how do we get to that ethical point where it's not, kind of everybody out for themselves, but at the same time, it's not the big corporations, but at the same time, the regular creators are able to actually make money.
Well, it is going to have to be a situation where it's always, this is Earth. Let's be real. Everything is always 50% everybody's out for themselves and 50% like what's good for like the world, society. It's usually for most people it's half and half, even if they want to say it's not. What's going to happen is something like Steam is going to happen. You're going to have something like I honestly think GameStop might be the thing that does some of this. Like if GameStop comes up with a thing where it's like, guess what, guys? Guess what, gamers? Now you can buy and sell your used games digitally. Like
they have to do that, otherwise they have to file for Chapter 11 this time.
And like you get a Steam key or something. I don't know what they're gonna do. Like something like that's gonna have to happen where people like no mention of NFTs, nothing like that. It's gonna be like you can come here and you can do this, and then people are gonna like a bunch of people at once are gonna go, whoa, really? And they're gonna go do that. They're gonna go there and they're gonna do that, and they're not even gonna know they're buying NFTs, and then. They're gonna like it's not a question of any of this stuff, and like later people will be like, oh, do you know these are NFTs? At that point people have already spent like $300 or $400 on average on this stuff, and they have stuff there, and they're just like that's the point where you break like the celebrity leadership stuff from Twitter, like where people are like, well, this artist on Twitter said this was bad, so it's bad. Like they're already gonna be $400 into something that they thought was bad, and they're gonna suddenly be like, well, it's not that bad. I mean, I'm not hurting the environment by buying this. Like that's a very like bleak way of looking at things, I guess. But like that is a very realistic approach. I think it's going to take something like that to get like normal people out there in the normal world who just want to play video games, who just want to read comics. It's going to take something that big to bring this into like the fold of like normal everyday life.
I mean, depends on the celebrity as well. Depends on the celebrity as well. If Henry Cavill came out and say, I bought the Witcher NFT, like I have my face on it or whatever, people would be like,
Well, that hadn't worked out great for celebrities so far.
If the celebrity we're talking about is Gwyneth Paltrow, like of course people
that's true. Gwyneth Paltrow. If you know what, FaZe, if GameStop hire me, here's an idea for you. $1 million idea. Okay? Get Henry Cavill in a commercial where he's sitting at home and he sees a sale for Witcher 3 Collector's Edition. and it has like some concept art or something that comes with the GameStop version of it, don't ever say NFT. Don't say that. Just say you can get this. And then he buys it, and then all of a sudden it shows that it's selling for like $500 or something. And he's just like, oh no, I'd never part with my Witcher 3 collector's edition or something like that. Have him do that. Have him do that. And then you will see everybody who loves Henry Cavill go, what? You can buy and sell? Like what? Like just make people go, what? And then once you get people to go, what, they will go and look at what.
So you're saying,
and then when they look at what, like 10% of those people are going to funnel in. So if you have a million people saying what, yeah, just brand it. Just get
like
people
how, yeah, like how EA tried to do with loot boxes when they called it surprise mechanics. Exactly. I hope it was the same. I hope not.
If you put that ad on Hulu and you put that ad on YouTube, and if you run it maybe through like GameSpot or something, get Jeff Keighley on board with this. Get him in the commercial. Have him sit beside him and be like, whoa, Henry Cavill, I can't believe it. He's like got his full like Dorito Pope uniform on. Whatever.
Next to him.
Put it on TV. Just put something striking on. Make it a Super Bowl commercial. I don't care. Just do it. And like you will get people, you'll get eyes on this, and you'll get people coming in being interested about this. Hire me, GameStop. $1 million idea for a commercial. It's yours. I got 1 million of them.
Say one
You
thing.
really think Henry Cavill is the one to do it?
Yeah.
Maybe something like Witcher 3 or like Call of Duty. I don't know. Something.
I'm thinking Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds or what's the guy who was in Blade Runner? I can never remember his name. Ryan Gosling. Get Ryan Gosling to talk about how he's buying some game of a thing he was in.
Too much of a normie.
I tell you what, this thread does not lack enthusiasm. I think sometime that you guys that Jared and Hazen need to get on a thread, and it should just be, okay, your challenge now is to sell somebody a bag of corks. And just come up with some random thing that is so boring that you guys have to find a way to sell it and just make it sound like it's the greatest thing ever. Because
for those holes you can't play.
There's an easy way to sell a bag of corks. Offer it with a case of wine.
There you go.
See, look at this, man. I love it.
Order this bag of corks for $800 and get a free case of wine.
Get a free
case of wine, baby.
Get a free NFT for this $800 bag.
Free NFT case wine. So it's not really wine. So even an 18-year-old can own it.
Wow. I wonder. That's a good question, actually. If alcohol companies sold NFTs.
5%
conversation
Hazen's idea.
I'm sorry. This is every conversation with me, Fry. We're off in the weeds. We need to get back on track. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Let's talk about sunflowers instead of weeds.
Hazen, I'm not surprised you brought up Yeezys at any point in this conversation, by the way.
Yeah, there's some Yeezys I love a lot, dude. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. I like those shoes.
That wasn't an invitation. That was not. I just mentioned it.
I like Uggs.
Uggs?
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know you love Uggs.
I cannot wear them anymore, but anyway.
Why?
My shoe size decreased.
She's shrinking slowly.
I'm shrinking.
I hit her with a shrink ray.
How did you do this?
Like on
Is it that new broccoli thing?
Rescue Rangers.
Estrogen does that for you.
I personally like sandals.
Yeah,
nice.
Like the Sumerians.
Like the Sumerians.
And what I'll do is I'll wear sandals with socks, with pajamas with shorts over them.
Okay, you lost me there at some point. I don't know where exactly.
It's fantastic.
Jerry walking around looking like Quail Man.
Dude, you don't even know. It's so comfortable. It's like fan-freaking-tastic. I'm just saying. One day, that image will be an NFT worth a bazillion. I want 5%.
That'll be for a charity stream for Crypto Comics one day.
5%.
Get the Jared NFT calendar.
Get the iconic Jared NFT.
We forgot about the NFT calendar. I got to do some poses, right?
I was hoping that everybody forgot about it, but obviously,
Wait, is that real? Is that really the real thing? Jared NFT
Oh,
calendar?
dude, they
I
wanted
hope
me in
not.
a firefighter outfit with no shirt on.
that never happened.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Holding my axe.
Holding your axe. Why? Oh yeah, they do use axes, don't they? I was about to say,
Yeah,
why
they
would
use
a fireman have an
axes.
axe?
And big long hoses.
And with that being said, I think it's probably about time for us to wrap this stream up, y'all.
Aw. We had so
Oh,
much
good
time.
Lord.
We had so much fun.
All right. Well, that being said, thank you guys for joining us. Matt, thank you for coming in and talking about your new book. Really appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys giving me the time to do it. I'm Hazen and Miss Faze. I doubt you guys have seen what's been going on my social media, but last week, basically right in the middle of our campaign, basically had to take a week off because I had a family emergency. It took me to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was pretty tough. It was pretty crazy week, pretty crappy week. But I would
Oh, you're in the
trade.
Carolinas?
I'm actually in Florida, so I was in Florida. I
Oh.
live in Florida. Steph
Go
flew in
Dolphins.
from California. That's right. Steph flew in from California for us to do a show in Atlanta. We were guests at a show in Atlanta last week, a Steampunk Expo. And as we're getting ready to leave, we got a message that my brother was having some terminal health issues and had to quickly derail and just point the car towards Charlotte. And everybody across the country that needed to get there, we got the text that said, call the kids in, which was not what you want to hear. And so kids had to fly in from Colorado and California. And so, yeah, we spent all week last week with my brother in the hospital and the funeral and all that kind of fun stuff. So, yeah, so basically last week kind of sucked. But, the Kickstarter campaign keeps on rolling, and we've been trying to do the best we can to keep it going. The world still turns even when tragedy strikes. And my brother was a consummate businessman. He was actually our tax consultant on our business too. So that kind of sucks. But
Wow.
so yeah, we're just still trying to rock it through. So if you guys have the ability to like and share and do what you can to help us spread the word, we would love you long time, but not the way that Jared would love you long time. We would just love you long time. We would love you long time figuratively.
Don't lie, Matt. Come on now. Don't lie. No need to be bashful, buddy.
That was great.
Hey, if you haven't watched the campaign video, you get to see me act like a little bit of a fool in there too. So we had some fun. We had tons of fun. So you can see me be a little bit of a fool. So
Yeah, Hazen, thank you for joining us, man. Really appreciate it. Always, every time you come on, it's always a blast. And
Yeah,
and
I
Miss
love coming
Faze,
in running my mouth. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. And Miss Faze, thank you
Hazen.
for joining us for the first time.
Hazen.
You'll be back, I promise.
Oh, thank you.
Hazen.
We won't let you get away.
Look in the chat,
Okay.
dude. It's awesome.
What am I looking for?
Dude, look for the code. The code, bro.
Code. Oh,
That being
yeah.
said, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thank
Night,
you, everybody,
everyone.
for joining us in chat. Thank you for all your questions. And if you guys watch this video after it's been live and you post up questions, we will do our best to answer you inside of the chat channels on the various platforms that you're on. And if you have questions for any of these guests specifically, we will do our best to try to forward those questions over so that they can get answers to you.
I personally have a lot
And-
more to say.
Oh,
Whoa.
well, you got so much time, Miss Faze.
Hold on. Hey, Miss Faze, do you mind coming on again?
If you
Oh,
want to.
that's why you have so much more to say. I see how it is. It's not because you like talking to us. I'm a little hurt.
If you
I
want
think
me
you
around,
filled
I'll
up for
stick here.
everybody, not
I'll
Jared.
stick around.
Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff.
Oh,
guys.
yeah, we forgot to ask for that stuff. Oh.
Share this out, please.
Jared, why are you the way that you are?